Hey friends, it's dusk and I am walking home, and I thought I'd record another video while I can, hopefully while it's still light out. I'm going to be in some shade with the trees, so we'll see how that goes, but we're trying it out. I just went shopping. I love to shop each day when possible on my pilgrimage, like sometimes even multiple times a day, sort of European style, like just go to the market and get what I need for the next 6, 12, 24, 48 hours. That works really well for me because it means I go and walk and I get what I need and I get out and I sort of clear my head and get fresh air. I do a lot of good thinking when I'm out walking, and it's easy to message people and send phone calls and write notes or listen to stuff. As often as possible, I try to be extremely online outside. I don't know, it works well for me. Like, I love being extremely online, and I also love getting outside, and I love getting fresh air, and I love moving my body. And so it's a good use of my time to see if there's ways I can use my phone outside when I get the chance. And I love being connected to the internet and to my friends all over the world and collaborators and correspondents and all that. And I also just like, and especially a place like this, it's so gorgeous to be outside and in nature. The last video I made, I talked about having some feelings in my body, and they've sort of cleared since I made that video. I feel pretty good now. And it occurred to me that it might be worth making a video about a number of different kinds of thoughts or frames or ways of seeing that are really useful for me when things are hard. Because I think I got out with one of these frames, and they're sort of just like tried and true frames that I return to again and again, and that really work for me. So I don't know, it's easy to get caught up in a specific situation or feelings about it, or to be hard on myself or be anxious or worried or what do other people think. And especially as I grow as a person, these patterns still come up, and especially with like more responsibility or connection to more people, or I don't know, if you're growing, I feel like you hit new edges, and but the same sort of themes recur. So anyway, these are some tried and true ways of seeing that have really worked for me to dissolve or reduce my own anxieties and worries. I guess the first one to say actually is that, like, and some people are walking by, so FYI, I tend to find that a little bit hard to work with these outside videos, but here we go. Hey friends. The first one is that worry is not a trustworthy compass. And I could do a whole video about that, but the point is, if I notice that I'm worrying, if I notice that there's anxiety, just noticing that is often enough for me to dissolve it and be like, I'm just not going to trust this. I'm not letting this steer. Elizabeth Gilbert has a great metaphor in her book, Big Magic, which is incredible, where she talks about not letting fear steer. Like, you can be in the car, you can say all you need to, I'll listen to you, I'll respect you, but you're not in charge. I'm in charge, you're not steering, we're going somewhere. And that's been a valuable way to relate to my fear. It's like, listen to it, love it, but not let it drive and not let it steer. And the phrase that I have for that in my head is, worry is not a trustworthy compass. And a lot of things are not a trustworthy compass, actually, but worry is one I can get sucked into getting steered by. And every time I do, I'm like, oh, that went poorly. And every time I don't, it goes well. So I try to just let go of that. And it's not like you can't plan or have considerations or whatever, but just to not steer based on it, not decide based on it, which takes practice, and also like sensory clarity about where your mind is coming from, like metacognition. Am I in a worried state of mind right now? And what's another one? Another one is just thinking about people who love me. Like, my mom works really well. My mom will always love me. She's dead now, but like, I feel her love. I feel very close to her, even though she's dead. And I just feel her love, and it's like, she will always love me. She is like an embodiment of unconditional love that's always with me. Or my oldest friend, Elise, who I've been friends with for coming up on 20 years, I don't know exactly. We're going to have to do some math about that, but 18 years or something. It's like, if I really, really, really mess up, if I make a lot of mistakes, if everyone in the world hates me, Ulysses will still love me. That seems true. I have enough. It's like a Lindy friendship. We've seen each other through so much. Like, he's going to love me. And then I can think of other friends that would probably love me, even if other people were mad at me or whatever. That's often something I'm afraid of, is people being mad at me, or the world hating me, or getting canceled or something, whatever. And that just dissolves. It's like, oh, friendships persist past that. Like, a real friend will be there for you, even if you make a mistake, or even if other people hate you, even if you fuck up. And I try to be that friend for my friends. I really value that. To treasure my friends with fierce love and loyal devotion, as we put it in the Guild Oath. I aspire to that. I try to live that. I try to embody that. And I do. I do. And so, like, my mom and Ulysses helped me access that. Another one is, like, just, did I learn and grow? Like, that's all that matters. As long as I learned something and grew through a situation, it's okay if I make mistakes, because then I'm learning from them. If I would do it differently, that's a good sign, because it means I'd learned something from it. And some more people coming by. Hello. If I just notice the fact that I'm learning and growing, then that can help me dissolve. It's like, well, yeah, that went kind of poorly. I would do it differently, but at least I learned something and I grew, and I won't make that same mistake again. And I'm really good at that. I do learn from my experience. I think that's what we're here to do in a lot of ways. So I try to do that. And another one is, at least it's a good story. This is the one that worked for me today. I was like, well, even if I mess up in this way or that way or whatever that I was worried about, like, at least it's a good story. I don't know. Like, I can think of it as I'm the protagonist of a novel that the universe is writing, that God is writing. And I'm like, well, at least it's a good story. Like, God is not going to be bored reading the story, watching this movie, whatever. It's not boring. I might be hated by everyone or something, but it's not a boring story. So that's good, at least. Even it's extreme, like, at least God would love me and find me interesting and forgive me and be like, yeah, it's good that you existed, even though you made these huge mistakes or whatever. Because this is a thing, this is part of, this is a little tangent, but this is part of the background, is like, you can't live life without making mistakes. And especially certain kinds of projects at bigger scales, or that are public facing, or that are just long term, like a relationship or a friendship. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things that hurt other people. You're going to do things that you really regret. You're going to do things even that maybe people hate you for, or judge you for, or think that you're evil for, if you actually do something serious. And that's just going to happen anyway. This is like the thing in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Is like, Arjuna doesn't want to fight, and Krishna's like, well, you're just in the field of action anyway. Like, grow up. You can't not take actions. Even if you're standing still, that's an action. Even if you're silent and, quote, disconnected from everyone, you're still having causal actions. You can't not act. So you might as well act in ways that you're proud of and do your best, and then learn from that. And yeah, so at least it's not a boring story. That's the one that worked for me today. It's a good story. It's a good story, sir. The story of Tasha, no matter how it ends up, will be a good and interesting story. It's not a boring story. It is in no way a boring story. I don't think anyone's story is boring, but mine is certainly not boring. It has not been a boring story. That one reduces my suffering. Another one is thinking about just materially. This one helps with money. Is like, all I really need are like water and food and space, and I guess like Wi-Fi. I tend to need Wi-Fi, but even that, optional. It's like water and food. If I have water and food, I'm good. You know, there's still health. There's still a lot of things that are really nice to have, or like pretty necessary, but like the bare minimum is water and food and air. And if I'm breathing and eating and have some water and, you know, a place to sleep, ideally some Wi-Fi, like I'm good. I'm good. I'm already like in some ways ahead, because a lot of people don't have those things, and it's good to remember that. And be connected to the people that are suffering, that don't have a place to sleep or don't have food to eat, or, you know, are in a war zone or whatever. I'm not in a war zone. I've never been in a war zone. Inshallah, I will never be in a war zone. I don't know, maybe I will, but right now I'm not, and I can count that my blessings, and I'm in good health, and I have food to eat, and I have water to drink, and I have a place to sleep, and I'm grateful for that. That helps me be like, okay, yeah, because I don't need that much money. Like, I value simplicity. It's not minimalism. It's not that I should have as little as possible. It's like to be content with just having what I need and knowing what I really need and noticing that I have that. I've never in my life not had that. I've never not had a place to sleep. I don't know, they're with an asterisk mark. I've never been starving. I've been hungry, but never starving. You know, I've never been extremely poor. I've been voluntarily poor, but never such that I didn't have food to eat or whatever. I don't know, basically, I've been voluntarily poor for a lot of my adult life. That's very different from involuntarily poor. I've been voluntarily homeless for a lot of my adult life. That's different than being involuntarily homeless. And even then, it's like I have places to sleep because I'm blessed in that way. And so just counting my blessings, basically, that's another frame, and expressing gratitude. Like, wow, there's so much to be grateful for. And yeah, what else? There's one last one. Oh, yeah, this one helped a lot when I was starting my pilgrimage. I started my Patreon at about the same time, and thankfully people signed up pretty quickly, and I pretty quickly got to like $100 a month, and then it was $200 a month, and it's grown. It's currently at like $1,800 a month, which is still something like 40% of my current expenses, and expenses go up over time, and there's inflation and all of that. But it's just been helpful to remember, like, oh, if all this fails, if no one supports me on Patreon, or just I'm not able to make it work, if this pilgrimage thing doesn't work out, like, what's the worst that could happen? It's like, well, I have to stop doing that. I live somewhere, and like the absolute worst is, quote, worst, because this is not bad, that I can imagine, you know, like within reason, besides like being in a war or getting incredibly sick or something. But like, if it doesn't work out financially, the worst that happened is like I get a job at a grocery store. And that's something I would actually really enjoy. And basically what I would do is use that as a training opportunity to cultivate love all of the time and just radiate love. Some kind of public-facing, customer-facing job that's like pretty simple, pretty straightforward, you know, pays all right. It doesn't have to be amazing. Ideally has health insurance, but like just a really straightforward job that is like no brain, head empty, heart full. And that because it's customer facing, I'm constantly reminded of people and interfacing with people, and that each person I see reminds me to cultivate love and to send them love. Like, may you be happy. May you be filled with love. I hope you're having a great day. Like, I hope you feel blessed today. I hope you're safe and healthy. And saying those phrases in my head, feeling in my heart, seeing their face, speaking with them, wishing them love. Like you've probably met this, that I noticed because I go to stores a lot. There's like on the one end of the spectrum, there's people who are just there. It's just a job. Their awareness is contracted. They don't like people. They're just there to put in their hours and get their paycheck and get through it. They're doing a perfectly fine job, but like you can tell they don't really want to be there. And then there's people who are like, I'm alive and I'm blessed to be alive. And here we are. And even though this is an incredibly mundane, banal, quotidian, everyday interaction, here we are. Wow, we're alive, and the universe is here, and you're alive, and I'm alive, and we're meeting, and we may never meet again. And like, you are a person worthy of love and respect, just like I am. And like, wow, I hope you're happy, and I hope you're doing so well. And you can feel this vibe in people, even like a grocery store clerk or someone who's driving a bus, and these people, like, they are living their vow. They're like in it. They're in it, and they're alive, and they're happy, and they're blessed. And yeah, they live this like very simple life, and it's kind of low status as far as society is concerned. But it's a good life, and they're happy, and they're blessing everyone around them, and you can feel it. I met someone like this recently, a couple weeks ago, at a grocery store in Berkeley, and it was like, that guy was fucking incredible. Like, wow. And I was so lucky to meet him just once for about 3 minutes. Like, that guy was a saint. Like, properly a saint. I was so blessed to meet him. I could just feel it, and it was a little bit like Game recognized Game, except he's way more of a saint than I am right now. He's just like absolutely radiating love. And that would be the amazing thing about a grocery store job like that, is like that'd be the only thing for me to do. I wouldn't have to think too much about how to stock things or whatever. It's not like making a spreadsheet. It's like just simple, like put this thing here, say hello to customer, ring up thing. And that's simple enough that I could just boom, radiate love. Like I have a hard time radiating love constantly right now in my current configuration. I try my best. I'm doing it as we speak, but it's not easy, and it would be a lot easier with those constraints. And I would be happy. I would be so happy doing that. Just radiating love, radiating love, radiating love. And every single person I met would remind me to do that. And if that's the worst case scenario, like that's a good life, man. That's in some ways like a better life than the one I'm living right now. I'm doing this one because it's interesting for me and of much more benefit broadly, like maximum deep benefit, helping as many beings as possible, as deeply as possible. But like that is a blessed life. And that guy is totally doing an amazing job. I love him. Like, blessings to you, sir. Bow to you, saint. So, wow, that's gorgeous. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Wow. That's just gorgeous. We're looking at it together, team. Okay, well, that's a good place to stop. My dad just called me and I want to call him back. But those are some things that help me dissolve suffering, that help me get a bigger perspective when I'm worried or anxious. Maybe some of those will resonate for you. If you have a different one that works for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And in the meantime, sending you love. Hope you're well. Take care, friends. Bye.